So this video is going to be on compound interest and how we can find out how much money we have in an account after a certain amount of years, given the interest rate and the number of times we are compounding. So we're going to discuss what that means. Okay, so your parents invest $10,000 into a college savings account in 2002. If the account earns 5% interest compounded annually, okay, so each year you're going to have a new starting amount. How much money will be in the account when you go to college in 2022? And I just want to note 5% earned interest is a very high interest. Just choosing this number for the sake of math class. So the initial investment we had was $10,000. And that's called the principal amount. Okay, it's what we start with. And then the interest that we're earning 5% interest. So as a decimal, we have 0.05. And then it's compounded annually, or once a year. Okay. So let's think about what compound interest is. Okay, so we're going to need our calculators. So make sure you have that out. Let's go through this. So after 1 year, right, if we started off with $10,000, and after a single year, we earn 5% interest. So in that account, we have now left $10,500, okay? So for year 2, instead of having $10,000 be our starting amount, our principal amount, we're taking what we earned, and that's our new amount, our new starting amount. Okay, so now in your calculator, we have 10,500 times 1.05 again. And we end up with $11,025. So from year 1 to year 2, we added $500. Year 2 to year 3, we've added, or actually year 1 to year 3, we can look at that. We've added $1,025. Okay, so we're adding more and more each year. So then year 3, if we have 11,025, then we have 11,576.25 left in that account. So each year, notice how it's increasing. Okay, it's increasing. And we don't want to do this 20 times, but what compounding is saying is it's taking the amount that you've earned after year 1 and it's having a new starting amount. Okay, each year you're going to have a new starting amount. I don't want to do this 20 times. So we have a formula that we can follow. So I want everyone to write this formula down. It's called the compound interest formula. Okay, so we have our amount in the account after t years, A of t, equals P, the principal amount, the amount we started with initially, times 1 plus R over N to the NT, okay, to the NT, where R is your annual interest rate, N are the number of times interest is compounded per year, and then the time in years to the NT. Okay, so N is still in the exponent, and then T, how many years have gone by. So let's explore. So if we plug all that we know in the calculator, we know we have 20 years. Okay? And we could plug this in, and we know that this piece in the middle ends up being 1.05, okay, to the 20th. So this is a simpler example because we're compounding yearly, once a year. So in my calculator, after compounding once a year, 1.05, and then using the caret to the 20th, we have $26,532.98. Okay, so that's us compounding yearly. What would happen if we compounded semi-annually? that would change the n value in the problem to 2, semi-annually, 2 times a year. And quarterly, that would mean 4 times a year. So that's what our n value would be. Monthly would be 12 times a year, and daily would be 365 times a year. Okay, so I want us to explore with these few problems and see what happens when we compound something quarterly and then compound something daily and see the difference. So if we have $10,000 to start with, we had a 5% interest and compounding 4 times a year. Okay, so we plug that into our formula. Our principal amount times 1 plus 0.05 over n, which is the 4, to the 4 times 20. And then if we compounded daily, that's every day, we're having a new starting amount. So let's see how that affects our final amount in this account. Okay, so in your calculator, it's important to plug everything in exactly as it's shown and to include parentheses for this fraction. So I have 1 plus 0.05 divided by 4, close parentheses, and then all raised to the 4 times 20th. Enter. And look, we get, after 4 times a year, we get $27,014.85. Okay, that's how much money we would have at the end of those 20 years. Not too far off from where we initially were, right? 26,000 yearly. So you earn a bit more, right? We earn about $600 more. So let's see what happens when we compound daily. So when we're plugging this into our calculator, 10,000 parentheses 1 plus parentheses 0.05 divided by 365, close parentheses, all raised to the 365 times 20. All right, let's see how this changes. We get $27,180.96. Look at the difference between these two, okay? So this is 4 times a year, and then this is 365 times a year, right? The daily compounding, does it do a lot to an account? No, right? You're only making maybe $100 more than if you were to work quarterly. Okay, so just keeping in mind that compounding daily may not always be the best thing. Okay, so we're going to do these 2 examples. So let's see what we can plug in. We have $5,000 invested in 10 years, has a 2% interest rate, so 1 plus R over N. Compounded quarterly, 4 times a year, and it's going to be for 10 years. So why don't you plug your stuff into the calculator for that one and see what you get. And then for the next one, we have $25,000 invested compounded daily, excuse me, so 365 down here, so 365 times 5, and then see what you get. Okay, so make sure you're plugging everything into the calculator properly using the correct keys and making sure you're using parentheses where you need to.